So now let us proceed to the third characteristic of quantitative research. And in order to discuss the third characteristic of quantitative research, let us have this following example. So let's say, okay, for example, you are to investigate the chemical components. Okay, you are to investigate the chemical components present in a certain species of plant. So, present in a certain plant species. So, you are to investigate what are the different chemical components present in this certain plant species. Now, this or the data you will gather in investigating the chemical components will serve as the basis so that you can identify the chemical properties. Okay, you can identify the chemical properties you can use in your study. You can identify the different chemical properties that you can use in your study. Now, in order to do that, you must subject this certain plant species, okay, into the so-called extraction. Okay, you must subject this certain plant species in a method or experimental method known as extraction, so that you can identify the different chemical components. Okay, so in extracting, you need several tools. Okay, in extracting, you need several tools or research materials. So, also known as research materials. Okay, research materials or instruments. Okay, and these research materials can be the following. So, it can be using of mortar and pestle. Okay, you can also use methanol if you are going to do methanol extraction, funnels or imbudo. Okay, funnels. Let's say you also use vials or test tubes. Then we have food processors or scissor in order for you to cut the certain species of plant. Okay, and also filter papers. Filter papers. Okay, so these materials are actually referred to the research instruments. Okay, they are referred as the research instruments. Sometimes in extraction, researchers uses aggregating machines. Okay, aggregating machines. Now, these aggregating machines is actually another example of a research instrument as well. So, these research materials will provide the data you need. Okay, these research materials will provide data. Okay, it will provide data you need in order to gather some results or in order to gather the data itself. Okay, so in this case, these materials, okay, you need them to gather data in order to identify the different active chemical components in that certain species of plant. Now, what are those active chemical components? So, example, after you use this research materials, you identified some chemical components such as tannins, okay, tannins, saponins, alkaloids, okay, and flavonoids. Okay, so these are some of the chemical components that can be found in this certain species of plant. And this data was actually gathered by using these different research instruments. Okay, so meaning to say, the third characteristic, okay, of quantitative research is that data are normally gathered through the use of structured research instruments. Okay? The researchers or quantitative research itself uses structured research instruments. The data is gathered using structured research instruments. Now, the structured research instruments are actually validated. Okay, they are validated by professionals. Okay? They are validated by professionals or experts. Okay? So, meaning to say, if they are validated by professional or experts, it ensures your, okay, ensures the reliability and validity of data or results. Okay? Data or results. So, meaning to say, in the third characteristic, research or quantitative research uses structured research instruments. Data are normally gathered using structured research tools, okay, in order to collect measurable characteristics. So, they are used in order to collect measurable characteristics or measurable variables. So, these measurable variables will be discussed later during the discussion of experimental research. Okay. Also, in addition, something that we mentioned already, okay, since quantitative research is concerned with the structured research instruments, the researcher uses tools in collecting numerical data. And these tools actually pertain to the modes of data collection. Modes of data collection. Okay? So, the modes of data collection can be in the form of observation. Okay? Can be in the form of surveys and questionnaires. Okay? Surveys and questionnaires. Okay? It can be in the form of, let's say, computer database. Okay? Computer databases. So, you can gather data in computer databases. And also, interviews. Okay? So, these tools are actually the modes of data collection. Okay? So, that will be the main essence of the third characteristic of quantitative research. Quantitative research uses structured research instruments.